I extend my pranam to all of you. Pranamji, pranam. Thank you all so much. I truly appreciate your presence. So just wanted to give a little bit of intro to Beerat. Before I start, just a few words, disclaimers, if we would say. Beerat is a little different than the understanding that we have around in this world, right? Because if we go to Islamic teachings or the teachings of Christianity, there is no such word or there is no such concept as Beerat in there. For Christianity and Islam, there is one universe. For Christianity and Islam, it is the God who created this world, the heavens and the earth. And according to Christianity, it took God 6 days to create this world and what he had to create, including humans. And on the seventh day, he took some rest. According to Islam, Allah or the Khuda or the God created this just by saying, be it, and it so happened. So the difference in Vedic or other understanding versus the Tartamya understanding of Beerat is so distinct that some of you might not be able to relate Beerat. So we would go very simple, in a simple manner, very detailed manner. We would explain everything, every cosmic terminologies and the lokas, as we might say, like the world that we live in, the 7 ethereal worlds, 7 heavenly worlds, and everything beyond that. Every locus would be explained in greater detail for you to understand. So I was just saying that disclaimer because Sarah is here. She probably relates to Christianity a little bit because her parents probably are Christians, and she might have an understanding of Christian theology. So I was saying that because you may not be able to relate it so much. Because according to Mahamati Pranaji and the teachings of Tartam, there are infinite number of universes in existence simultaneously. And it is not God or Raji who created this universe per se. It is Akshar Brahma. We call him infallible Brahma as well because he is imperishable. We call him Akshar. So Akshar Brahma is the one who creates this. But it was created with the will of Sri Raji Maharaj. So we can associate this creation to Raji Maharaj, but in terms of creation, it is not Lord Brahma as Hindus would understand it. It's not the creator, it is Akshar Brahma with the guidance of Sri Raji Maharaj creating this. So it is a little distinct in terms of other philosophies, other theologies explaining the universe and the process of creation. So it would be a little different than the other understandings. So that was a disclaimer. The other disclaimer would be some of the ideas of Beerat that would be explained during the course of time would be a little confusing and sometimes contradictory. So when you have questions about anything that is presented here, discussed here, please note them down and then we can have a discussion on that. Let me tell you, there would be questions on Beerat because Bitak is the life description or the biography of Sadhguru and Devachandraji Maharaj, and we have the history, the annals of their life accounts recorded by the Sundar Saji of that time. But Beerat is based on the understanding of Mahamati Pranaji. Beerat is based on the Vedic understanding as well, especially the realm of the perishable realm that we know as Char Brahmanda, the universe that perishes. So the Char Brahmanda is based on Vedic scriptures, but the one beyond that, what we call Behadda, is a part of Tartamya understanding. So that is another disclaimer that there will be some questions, there will be some contradictions. There are some things that I myself have questions about the understanding of Beerat. I hope that we would continue to explore them and probably find answers during this session. So with those two disclaimers, let me go ahead and start the Beerat. So Beerat is a science. That's why we call it Beerat Vigyan. It is a science of creation. It is a science of cosmos. It is cosmology. So we, as I think Rojiji said, it is a pathway to Paramdham. It gives us a goal to look up to, because for a soul that is so much into awakening, Paramdham is our eventual goal. Salvation is our eventual goal. And as the scriptures say, Tame viditva timritimeti nanya pantha vidyate anaya. Until we understand the divinity, until we understand the supreme being, salvation is not possible, is Atharva Veda, one of the last Vedas state. Beerat gives us the goal. As such, there are certain expectations from this Beerat discourse. As you might have already guessed, the Beerat discourse would be in a PowerPoint. We'll be presenting it because there are locus, there are descriptions of all the planetary systems that would be explained. So it would be in the presentation format. I will share my screen and you will be able to see what we are talking about on a daily basis. So once again, thank you all so much. So like I said, Beerat is the science of creation. It explains the process of creation. It talks about why God, being such an Ananda, existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute, create a world completely opposite. Yeah, and the world is full of suffering and misery, but as Hindus believe it, as a lot of people believe it, God created this and God resides in it. God is omnipresent. If that was the case, why could God create a world completely opposite in attributes as He is? So that is the question that we would answer in Beerat. We would also understand different concepts about the advent of humanity into this world, or we can say advent of Sundarsas, the pure souls into this world, the reasoning behind it, why creation had to happen, why God created this world, as it is said that there was a time when none of this existed. Since it came into existence, it is going to eventually perish. It will eventually go away. It will eventually dissolve, as scriptures, Durva Samahimna Stotra said, Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, Surapati, Ramara, Nasura, Naiva Prithivi, Napo, Nagnir, Navayu, Natsagana Talam, no Diso, Naiva Kalaha, no Veda, Naiva Gyana, Charavishasino, no Vidhirno, Vikalpaha. So, at a moment when there were no Lord Brahmaji, Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, no Vedas, no sun, no 5 elements, nothing existed. And at that time, Jyotir Satyamekam Jaiti Tatapanam Sachidananda Murtehe. Back then, when none of this existed, the Lord Supreme resided infinitely in that ever-radiating Paramdham. So, Beerat tries to explain why creation happened. And when creation happened, as we all know, how it happened, the process. Yame Mahavishnu Mana Tate Triguna Tate Tirachara Sabhautpana, the process of creation would be explained in Beerat. So, according to Hindu mythology, according to the scriptures of the West, there are certain planetary systems, planetary places where soul ends up being after it leaves the body. So a lot of Hindus think that heaven is a place of salvation. A lot of Hindus believe Vaikuntha, as such they believe in Lord Vishnu as their savior. A lot of people believe in Lord Mahesha, so they worship him and believe that Kailasa is the place of salvation. Some people believe in Narayana, worship Narayana. Some people believe in deities and they worship the deities. So there are different places of soul's destination, different destinations for a soul based on the prayers, based on the devotion. So what is the exact place of salvation? Because based on the Vedic scriptures, heaven, as we say it, Swargalok, is not a place of salvation, as Bhagavad Gita states in chapter 9, Teta Bhuktva Swargalokam Vishalam, Chine Punyamartelokam Vishanti. Swarga or heaven is not the place of salvation. So what happens to those who believe in heaven being the place of salvation or place of moksha? So all these planetary systems, all the lokas, all the way down from Patala, from hell, all the way up to Paramdham would be explained in greater detail in Beerat. We would understand the benefits of understanding Beerat, what it does. Because as Guruji stated earlier, Beerat shows us something that we need to hold on to. And Beerat also tells us what to discard. So understanding all these planetary systems, we would discard most of what exists, most of what people know. We would understand the realm that perishes, the Cherbrahmanda, the universe that perishes, the universe that we find ourselves in. So understanding all these planetary systems, we would renounce all of it, and we would find ourselves in the effulgent, ever-radiating Paramdham, and that is where we meditate. That is what we meditate upon, as Mahamati says. For this world of awakening, for this Jaganis Brahmanda, there is one goal and only one thing to do, that is Surata Ekai Rakhe Mula Milave Mahe. Syama Syama Ji Sataji Tale Bhuma Baithe Jaye. Our attention should all be focused on. We should be single-minded on. We should be meditating on nothing but that Mool Milava, where we are living in the presence of Sri Raji Maharaj, watching this forgetful world, the forgetful leelas, the Mayik leelas of the world. So it gives us the goal. It tells us what to discard and what to hold on to. It is the sign of cosmos and creation. It talks about what scientists say, the process of creation with the Big Bang explosion, the Big Bang theory that science explains, the theory of evolution. We can probably relate that to some extent in terms of Mahamati Pranaji's understanding of the cosmos and explanation of the process of creation. So there are many things that we would cover. And as we go along, we would discard everything we have held on to so far, and we would only single-mindedly focus our attention to where we are, to awaken ourselves in our super soul that we call Paratma. That is where we'll awaken. So Beerat offers us so much, but at the end of the day, once we understand the process of creation in this cosmos, we will renounce everything and we'll hold on to Paramdham. And once we understand this, all we do is meditate on the lotus feet of Sri Rasamaji. And our mind that we have that never rests, that is so restless, what we do is we make it visit the 25 aspects of Paramdham. We'd make it travel around Paramdham. So what happens when we constantly think about the positives, when we constantly meditate upon something that is blissful, is our life starts to change, because we have so much negativities around us. We think about all the bad stuffs. Now everyone is worried about the new variant of COVID. that was found in South Africa, and we do not know what happens next. We do not really know how viral it is, how infectious it is, how fatal it is. So with all these uncertainties around us, Mahamati says, "Leoge jo dukha ko, to dukha tumko lagasi. Leoge jo nija sukha ko, to dukha tumate vagasi." So our goal is to hold on to something that is blissful. And when we do that, all our sufferings, all our miseries eventually vanquish. So that is the goal of Beerat. We'll understand so many things, so many aspects of the cosmos, creation, and on this process, we'll understand the distinct Leelas of Sri Krishna. We would understand 4 aspects that are must in order to be awakened. That is the Nam, Dham, Swarup, and Leelas of the Lord Supreme. That is the name. That is the abode. That is the form and the sports of the Lord Supreme, without which salvation is impossible. So, in short, if I have to say what Beerat is, I would say Beerat is a passport to Paramdham. Beerat is a passport to Paramdham, and Charchani would be the visa, I would say. So without a passport, you cannot have your visa stamped on, right? Without a passport, you cannot travel to other countries. Without a passport, you cannot get to Paramdham. So I would say Beerat is the passport. And once you have the passport, what you do is you stamped the visa of Paramdham. That is the discussion, the enumeration, the description of Paramdham that we understand by the term of Vritti or Charchani. That would be the next session that we would be able to discuss once we understand the Beerat in totality. So thank you all so much. We had a brief intro on Beerat today.